These latest headlines from ABC15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.
I'm Faye Fredericks with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. Tariffs continue to dominate the headlines and influence the recent roller coaster on Wall Street. U.S. financial markets up today, dollar and treasury yields down. White House says some key consumer goods, including phones and laptops, would only be subject to a 20% import tax for now. The administration is focused on boosting U.S. manufacturing in certain critical industries.
We need to have semiconductors, we need to have chips, and we need to have flat panels. We need to have these things made in America.
There is no tariff policy. It's just all chaos and corruption. That's all we have going on. And how can you believe any of these guys?
As always, ABC15 and the Scripps News Group are following this story closely. Rachel Henderson is in Kansas City with more on what this could all mean for you. ABC15 tracking the first 100 days of the second Trump administration. One of the biggest storylines so far, increased deportation efforts of what the White House and DHS call violent gang members. Many of them now at a notorious supermax prison in El Salvador. President Trump today meeting with the president of that nation, who says he doesn't have the power to get Kilmar Abrego Garcia back home. Garcia had been living in Maryland and was not supposed to be sent to El Salvador after successfully petitioning the courts to avoid deportation to that nation.
How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
DHS says an informant told them Garcia is a member of MS-13, but hasn't provided supporting evidence in court. He did not have a criminal record here. Supreme Court recently ruled illegal immigrants should receive due process before being deported. Trump today also floating the idea of sending violent prisoners who are Americans to El Salvador. Today, a Maryland Democratic senator requested a meeting with the president of El Salvador to discuss the case. He's also vowed to travel to that nation himself to check on Garcia. In our Border Watch, President Trump now authorizing the military to take control of a strip of federal land along the southern border. Memo going out Friday night to the heads of Homeland Security, the Departments of Defense, Interior, and Agriculture. It empowers them to transfer control of federal land to the military. The Defense Department is also instructed to take a more direct role in that effort by operating on military installations, including border wall construction and detection equipment installation. Migrants who cross in that area would be detained for trespassing onto military property until the Department of Homeland Security could arrive to pick them up and deport them. Border Star Tom Homan addressed a special joint session of the Arizona legislature last week. He emphasized he expects local law enforcement officials to coordinate with the federal government, something that's been fought in some jurisdictions.
We're going to get this job done with no apologies. When we're done, we're going to have the most secure border in the history of this nation.
On his first day in office, President Trump chose to grow the military's presence along the southern border, with thousands of additional active duty troops ordered there. As the military takes a more prominent role in securing the border, count on ABC15 to follow up on the effort and its impact. An emotional day in Tempe as former Cardinals great Patrick Peterson signed back on with the team to retire in the red and white. Shutdown corner and electrifying return man, spent 10 years in the desert, earning 8 Pro Bowl nods, 3 All-Pro selections, and a spot on the Pro Football Hall of Fame's All-Decade squad. ABC 15 Sports' Colin Harmon was there, and he's going to have much more ahead at 6:30.
Tracking your forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Amber Sellens. It is a warm start to the week. Highs ended up in the 90s today and will do so again tomorrow. We start the day at 69 degrees around 6 a.m., climb into the upper 80s by noon, and hit 94, nearly 10 degrees above normal for tomorrow afternoon here in Phoenix. We do have some cloud coverage coming in at times, saw a lot of that today out ahead of this next storm system. But it's not just this one. There's another one that will be moving in from the north right as this starts to move on shore. Those two sort of combining into one here and bringing chances for rain and snow to Arizona, along with some cooler air by the end of the week. Now, out ahead of this, some breezy to windy conditions across the state. And for the valley, it's going to be breezes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before that slight chance of rain kicks in Friday afternoon. We'll bump it up to 20% early Saturday morning as temperatures drop into the 70s. And then we're drying out just in time for Easter with sunshine and a high of 84.